my thought process is, first we should talk about, code sections that we're going to deal with and how the trusts operate, right? If you're going to prepare an estate tax return, you're going to be hit with this book of estate planning documents, and I think you need to understand the trust. So we're going to spend time learning about, 2036, what causes something to be included in the estate. We're going to talk about, 2041, if you have a general power of appointment, and how that works in terms of inclusion in the estate and not included in the surviving spouse's estate. We're going to talk about 1014A and the importance of a step up in basis. We're going to talk about 1014E and how we might be able to avoid 1014E and get a double step up in basis. I know that sounds weird, but we'll talk about that. I want to talk a lot about the marital share, the special marital share, the Q-tip share, which is our 2056 B7 code section. I want to talk about the remainder share and how those are drafted and what language is in there so that we understand the Q-tip piece and basically when to make a Q-tip election. We'll talk a little bit about making a federal Q-tip, excuse me, a federal Q-tip election sometimes. How we can make a federal Q-tip election, even if we don't need to eliminate estate taxes. The rev procs have changed and allowed us to do that. Before you couldn't in the past. I want to talk about how the federal Q-tip election is different than the mass Q-tip election and when we make those. I want to talk a little bit about a irrevocable life insurance trust, which really comes to what's included in the estate and what's not included in the estate, because you're going to contrast that with a Medicaid irrevocable trust. Yes, they're both irrevocable, but the includability is entirely different. So we want to make sure we understand what's included when you're looking at an irrevocable trust. It could very well be included in the estate. Again, bringing us back to the 2036 definitions. So we're going to go through all these different code sections and then help us understand how those work. Oh, and portability. We're going to talk about that. And how when you make your federal Q-tip election, how important it is to have portability and how portability is used for gifting purposes, right? And when is that DSU, the deceased spouse's unused exemption, used for gifting purposes? And so I want to then, get into all of that and then take those rules once we understand the rules and put numbers behind them, right? Take it to the example, take it to the actual tax return. I always laugh at myself when I think of the fact that I went through this Boston University estate tax LL.M program. Oh, tons of tax classes. And at the end of that program, you step back and you say, did they ever one time teach me how to prepare a 1041 income tax return? No, seemingly that would be an important part. 2, did we ever talk about a 706 estate tax return? No, but those are the things that you wish you were taught in tax law school, but we weren't. So I think we should have a class for that. And I think that's what this class is going to do. So that's a little bit about the introduction, sort of where I want to go with the materials. I will go through and try to keep you up to speed as to what page I'm on as I go through this.